Hello, welcome to Mowgli TV. Today we're going to go through something that is requested quite often and is usually achieved with the use of external plugins. But it's actually possible to do this in a very simple and efficient way using only Resolume. What I'm talking about is outline tracing, as you can see in this clip. Let's get into it. If you drag Shaper onto your clip, and now we're just going to do a bit of editing, so we're gonna get rid of the inside fill just by turning it transparent, turn your alpha down. Then we're gonna turn down the outline so it's not as thick, and maybe make the shape a tiny bit smaller. So that is the basic starting point. We've got a shape. You can use any shape you want. This could be a PNG. Next thing we're going to do is go to our effects and get our trusty radar. Now, something I always say at my workshops, it's that you should try to not associate an effect with its name too much, because it'll limit the way you look at the effect and the uses that you find for the effects by switching off the grid of the radar and turning down the fade. That's a really good starting point for what we're trying to do. So the next thing to do is to animate the angle. If I just drag the slider, you'll see what I mean. So that's already tracing. So basically that is the secret to this. And this is a really good use for radar other than making things look like a radar. It's basically a circular motion that has got control over the tail that is exposed as the circular motion masks and unmasks your content. So if we just animate that, we're going to animate it to BPM. So I've got BPM sync and that's going round. So there you go. That is in a nutshell the basic effect that we're looking for. So those are the bare bones of how to actually use this trace thing. But there's so much more that you can do and so much control that you actually got over it. And one of the main things that you need to know about whenever doing anything with Resolume is that envelopes are the trick to most things. I've got another tutorial talking about envelopes that you can have a look at if you're interested, but let's get into the use of envelopes for the radar. So to start, we've got the circle here. Let's just switch to this, exactly the same thing, but I've used the rectangle instead. And as you see, it's doing a very similar thing. Let's just have a little play so that you see what control you've got. If we use the trail length, you'll see that we can go from very short to lighting up the whole shape. If we get into the angle animation that we've got and then we add an envelope to it, let's make this a bit bigger so it's easier to edit. And now we've got the 4 beats here. So what we can do for starters is add a keyframe on the envelope on each one of the beats. So you got one there, and one there. And now we can play about with the actual curve of each one of the dots we've got here. So that one's on linear, but if I switch it to quadratic in, for example, and then I do the same with the other ones, now you see how the motion is completely different. And this actually can be very cool when you're playing with this synchronized to the beat of the music. So if I trigger this column here, which has got a beat on it, as you can see, it goes with a beat. So that is something that envelopes are really good for. Once you've got a basic animation, you can use the different envelopes with the different easings to create a different feel for exactly the same animation, making it a lot more dynamic and reactive to the music. So next we've got this, in which I've basically assigned the composition FFT to the trail length, tweak the settings a bit so they react to the kick drum there. So you get this effect which is more in tune with the actual sound. If I stop the sound, you see that the trail is constantly the same. If I trigger the sound on, you can see how the trail grows on and off with the beat. So here we go, a similar thing using a hexagonal shape, and you can see how the envelope I've created here, I've synchronized it to 6 beats, and I've used the back in curve for each one of the different keyframes here. So it's doing this kind of bouncy thing, which can be very interesting as well. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you found it useful. There's a lot of tweaking you can do to tailor the effect, making it sound reactive or not, playing with the length of the trail so that you get this outline trace effect to do exactly what you want. As always, please like and subscribe because it really does help my channel and I appreciate it. And I hope to see you here next time.